This is take two on youtube.com, Jamestown, California. CPAC, will Donald Trump, the former president, leave the party? And right now I'm watching the Fox News in the morning. Pete Hegseth is a strong supporter of the former president. And it seems as if many personalities on the network are starting to put the viewers a little bit in jeopardy. The fact that you guys saw what happened January 6th. You know what happened January 6th. And you still continue to support the former president rerunning in 4 years. This is becoming an issue for the conservative people, because the Trump supporters are Trump supporters and Republicans are Republicans and conservatives are right in the middle. This is what should happen. The former president should speak and then leave the party. However, the popularity of the Fox News personalities continuing to promote the former president to run again only hurts the party and hurts the viewers watching news broadcasts on this channel. What I mean is, Pete, you should take your money and your riches from your books and leave news on this network and go work at another network, in my opinion. In fact, all of the broadcasters that support the former president, after knowing what he was suggesting to hurt the vice president during the January 6th onslaught of the Capitol, or the insurgency, whatever you want to call it, the insurrection. Now I'm going to go to the next topic of discussion, the grounds of impeachment by former President Trump that the media did not cover. The first ground was when he admitted to his team, including his son, to slow down testing during the COVID emergency during the COVID administration. Pardon me on that. Number one. But the second one I want to talk about is the Kung Flu statements, which you never talk about. However, the attacks on Asian Americans have increased, and there's been many protests in the major cities because of the amount of attacks that have been occurring to Asian Americans during the coronavirus pandemic. And the former president, when he said Kung Flu were grounds of impeachment, enticed those current attacks, although people will not put one and two together. When the former president says words as Kung Flu, even though he's not in office, have a little to do with some of these attacks, because when you have a popular person with that kind of power saying those kinds of words and that kind of prejudice, and they were grounds of impeachment, even though he's not the president, crimes continue, aggression versus Asian Americans because of statements such as Kung Flu. So Pete and all the broadcasters on Fox News, this is very important. I'm getting a little tired of Donald Trump's son going on TV on your network and blaming Republicans or blaming the Republican Party for losing the election or calling us names. I'm getting really tired of Donald Trump's kids going on TV and insulting other Republicans and blaming them for their loss. They lost because of words as Kung Flu, humiliating John McCain, losing Arizona when he passed away, and just the little things. And that's why it's important to move on. The Republicans have 4 years to find a candidate and gain momentum. We need to look forward, not look back. Pete, if you want to continue to support the former president, do it on your time, not on my time. Because the last take I was talking about doing nothing. But doing nothing sometimes may not be enough to swing this. in my opinion. If the former president doesn't leave the party, then I'm going to have to make a decision whether I continue to view people that support him, because I'm not going to get labeled by people to hurt my work or my professional life today, tomorrow, or yesterday, because I'm viewing the horse manure of this kind of idea that you're still promoting the former president to run again after the idea to go hurt the vice president in the insurrection. Basically, they wanted to pick up the vice president and put him on top of the crowd and flip him around and maybe do worse things than that. And the vice president wasn't even at CPAC. And no one's mentioned or talked about, well, why isn't the former vice president at CPAC? He should be the one taking over the party. He should be the one first to be allowed to speak. And instead, because of what occurred January 6th, he's so embarrassed or humiliated or afraid or timid that he's not even wanting to come back. And it's people like broadcasters on this network, specifically on this network. And I like this network. And I know you guys have been more and more fair during the week. But when the former president's son's going on TV and blaming Republicans, this is what needs to happen. In order to combat the Democrats' onslaught, the party's going to have to split up. Or Donald Trump's going to have to leave the party and give the party a chance to win. You're not giving the party a chance. You're not supposed to criticize other members in your party after you've lost. And you continue to do so, and I'm just getting sick and tired of it. Mr. President, former president, I gave you 3 years where I supported you. I stopped supporting you after there were grounds of impeachment. You made some good decisions in your administration, but you pretty much just did nothing. The America First policy was everything I wrote in my book, The State of the Union and Our Democracy. And you were the popular person that Lou Dobbs and other Republicans put on the platform, and you used some form of comedy show to gain supporters with your gold hair, or your whiteness, if you want to call it, and you won the election. And that's why this entire campaign against everyone else is going on, because of you. And it needs to stop. It absolutely needs to stop. You need to leave the party. If you don't leave the party, we're going to have to start thinking of other options of how to kick you out of the party. Because I'm not going to tolerate your son insulting other Republicans and blaming other Republicans for your loss. You lost because of you, not because of others. There were glitches in the post office, but you did not do enough before the election to swing it. You lost. The voters that voted for you only voted for you because there was no other selection to vote for. So if you decide to leave the party and be independent, that will help the Republican Party in the long run. In the short run, it will hurt the party, but in the long run, 2 is always better than 1. YouTube.com, Jamestown, California. I'm going to leave the take real quick that viewers cannot view broadcasters that support the former president after knowing what the intentions of hurting the vice president. It's absolutely absurd that they continue this charade. Pete, you made a lot of money from your books. I watched Fox News yesterday for fun, but every broadcast is there promoting their book. I need news. I need to know what's going on in the world. I need to know what's going on in the country. I don't need book promoters. If you guys want to book promote, go work on another channel. You need to be a lot more fair, balanced, and unafraid like your colleagues are. Your network is split in 2. You have one group that's fair and the other group that's continuing to drink the Kool Aid. You need to do something about this, Fox News. rearranging your team and your broadcast. You're picking on the wrong people and you're leaving the wrong people up there. I'm not going to tolerate it. If Donald Trump continues to stay in the Republican Party and doesn't leave the party tomorrow, I'm going to go to the register on Monday and re-register and no longer be a Republican and be an independent. So your son could kiss my fucking ass and he will never blame me or another Republican for your loss. I won't vote in the next election for you if you decide to vote or be on that ticket. And I'm going to leave the take right there. YouTube.com, Jamestown, California. I mean, who the fuck are you kidding, Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr.? Blaming other Republicans for your loss when there's attacks on Asian Americans, when your dad said Kung Flu multiple times? It's partially your fault. And those were grounds of impeachment that the media didn't cover because this network decided to take a chance and just ignore it, assuming that you might win the election. Well, you lost the election. And not only did you lose the election, Georgia was lost. And because Georgia was lost, the party needs a new candidate. And that's it. There's no other way to talk about it, swing it, or even debate it. There is no debate on this issue.